Shalom, Call Halal Yahweh Shem Shai. Some honors to the apostle and elders of the great millstone. Citation to the brothers on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word, truth, and sincerity. This is Ira from Great Millstone, Wisconsin. I just got a quick article I just came across. Brother sent me by way of YouTube. This is from the Washington Post. It says, in a hungry Venezuela, buying too much food can get you arrested. Now, we all know by now, if you aren't in the circle of Israel, the Venezuelans are from the tribe of Zebulun of the nation of Israel, and basically what's happening with the tribe of Zebulun and the country of Venezuela as a whole is the Lord is passing judgment on them, for worshiping other gods and and various other sins and various other transgressions against the Lord, having other gods before Him as being one of them, and that God that they all worship right now is Jesus Christ, so-called Jesus Christ, which is Cesare Borgia from Roman Catholicism. But let me get into the article though, and we can back this up by scripture, because this what's happening in Venezuela is nothing but a prelude to what's to come, or a sample of what's to come for the rest of the world. The rest of the world will soon be in the same state, which is trying to conserve food and things like that. For instance, in America, they already passed a National Defense Resource Preparedness bill that was passed in 2012 or 13, somewhere around that few years back. And basically, what that gave the government to do is, in times where the president can declare martial law in peacetime, they can go around and suck up all the resource from every store, every restaurant, every place of food, every place of dining, any type of food, can be stored for the use of the government, and they can use the people as a slave labor force, But so that's what's coming to America. And this is what's coming to the rest of the world, as you people will soon find out, pursuant to Bible prophecy. And matter of fact, let me play this video for you guys. It's only a minute 53 seconds. I didn't see this video before.
Knee-deep in vegetable gardens sprouting up across Caracas, Venezuelans are getting their hands dirty for their country. It's part of President Nicolas Maduro's great agro-Venezuelan mission to promote city farming to offset widespread food shortages.
Remember what I just said? Slave labor force?
El 83% de los habitantes de Venezuela, de nosotros.
83% of the inhabitants of Venezuela live in cities, and only 17% live in the countryside. That means we must build an urban productive culture, necessarily new, absolutely new. That is urban agriculture.
Absolutamente nueva. Para eso es la agricultura urbana.
The push for produce comes amid unprecedented hardships, as Venezuelans line up daily at supermarkets across the country, though oftentimes they leave with nothing. Government policy and rock-bottom oil prices have left the economy in tatters. For Luisana Galvis, urban farming is the answer.
If we sow and cultivate in our own homes, nobody can come to take that away from us, and nobody is going to sell it to us, and so we reduce the cost of living.
But despite the enthusiasm, in 3 months only 273 tons of food have been produced, far short of the annual goal of 3,500 tons. Casa Bistro restaurant owner Omar Sharam, who already grows his own food, isn't convinced by Maduro's plan.
It's illogical to have a grand plan for urban agriculture, given how fertile the land is in Venezuela. If I have to give an answer, no, I think they will fail.
But for Maduro, failure might not be an option in a country hungry for change.
That's the end of that video, and that guy,
Children build the streets.
Slakia, that guy Maduro, who doesn't agree with the plan, and he said, the plan will fail, he's absolutely correct, which, he doesn't know the scriptures, but the reason why that national agricultural plan will fail for Venezuela is because the Lord won't allow it, Prophecy stands is that, the people will die of hunger and die of famine, man. And you just heard, 3 months into the project, they still weren't yielding enough food, man. That's because, one, Israel is under curses that they don't understand. And, the prophecy is that, famine is coming, just like famine is here in Venezuela. Famine will be here in America and around the world. Let me read this article, though. If I can scroll up. Slovakia. Let's see, it's messing with my computer. Let's see, Slovakia. Alright, Slovakia about that, brothers. Satan was froze my computer for a second. But let me get into this article. It says Barquisimeto, Venezuela. The hunt for food started at 4 a.m. when Alexis Camascaro woke up to get in line outside the supermarket. By the time he arrived, there were already 100 people ahead of him. Camascaro never made it inside. Truckloads of Venezuelan troops arrived in the darkness, arresting him and nearly 30 others, seemingly pulled from the queue at random. According to his lawyer, Camascaro, 50, was charged with violating laws. Camascaro, 50 years old, was charged with violating laws against interfering, directly or indirectly, with the production, transportation, or sale of food. He has been in jail for 3 months awaiting a hearing. Now, what that is, that sounds like a totalitarian society, it seems like 1984 coming to life. This man got arrested, and 30 others that were waiting in line just to buy food for their families got arrested because they were buying too much food, or they were buying too much food for their family. That sounds like the movie Demolition Man or the movie Equilibrium. It says, I went to see the prosecutors and explained that he was just buying some food for his family. He's not a bachaquero, said Lucia Mata, Camascaro's attorney, using the Venezuelan term for someone who buys scarce, price-capped, or government-subsidized goods to resell in the black market. So now, what they're doing is they're locking people up for just buying food, man. It says because there's not enough to go around. It says Camascaro was snared in a new crackdown on Venezuelan shoppers, part of President Nicolas Maduro's attempt to assert greater control over food distribution and consumption. Maduro blames this oil-rich country's chronic scarcities on an economic war against his government waged by foreign countries, opposition leaders, business owners, and smuggling gangs. And I wanted to hit on this point here, against his government waged by foreign enemies, which almost no doubt, I haven't read into the backstory, but almost no doubt, without a doubt in my mind, America has its hand, in this crisis in Venezuela in some shape or form, you know. Um, let's see. I'm not gonna read the rest of the article. You guys can read that on your own. I just wanted to give a quick synopsis. Um, based on the scriptures, of course. This is Second Ezra chapter 16, and I'll start at 19th verse. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. So this is the beginning, man. This is just the beginning of what's gonna happen to the world. The beginning of famine and great death. Famine and great death. That's the part that sticks out, man. Because people are gonna start dying off by the drove, just from not being able to eat anything. It'll be like the siege of Masada all over again. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of wars, meaning which the wars are breaking out as we speak. Because there are going to be wars and skirmishes over food control, man, and food scarcity. Soon the nations will start warring with each other, and the power shall stand in fear. Which they are, man. They're standing in fear of the prophecies. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? What shall we do when these evils shall come? We shall abide in the Lord, man. Pray unto the Lord, man, and follow the Spirit. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Now that word scourges a whip, man, or punishment, And right now, Venezuela is being punished, for their transgressions against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, Zebulun is getting it right now. It says, the beginning of Slakia, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, meaning disease, man. Because what follows after famine is disease. You know, people aren't, able to eat. And people are starting to get sick, and that's going to spread. Tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. An amendment, the word amendment means to change, man. Those are sent as scourges upon you for you to change your ways, man, and amend your doings, or amend your ways, and come back to the Lord. But, 2/3 of Israel isn't going to do that. So, they 2/3 of you deserve exactly these scourges. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness. See? Nor be always mindful of the scourges. So you're not even mindful that this is happening to them, that the Most High is doing this to them. So since the Most High is not in their thoughts, they're going to die, man. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. And why is that? For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. And you're gonna waste away, stricken for want, of food, When you go hungry, when you're starving, you start to hallucinate, you start to hear things, start to see things, you start to think, wild imaginations, man. You start to go literally, psychotic or crazy in your mind, man. That's the worst, and that's before you die. That's the worst way to go out is by hunger. Like I said, man, the Lord is the power. Yahweh Hashem Shai is the King of terrors, man. There are things worse than death. And starvation is one of them. So with all that, this is the judgment of Zebulun, man. With all that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Hashem Shai, call all Yahweh Hashem Shai, double honor to the apostle of the great millstone, citation to the brothers on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word, truth, and sincerity. Shalom.